All right. Hopefully audio works. Hope you can hear me. All right. This camera thing is freezing up on me. So I'm going to switch to the other camera. Hello, hello. How's everybody? All right. I was playing a little bit because I just got a new Nord keyboard. It's been a little while since I had my precious Nord. And it's pretty awesome. I've tried to set up here with this camera, but it doesn't always work. It's freezing up on me. It's probably not the best idea. I'm gonna make it better. Anyway, how's everybody? Love to see Roland Rabian here. Roland Rabian here, for those who don't know, is an amazing programmer. Also, somebody who I admire a lot from the audio programmer community. And yeah, so I'm here to code something that I need. And hopefully we can blaze through it in one session because I need it and I need it done. And I'm going to explain in a second what it is. Yeah, so I want to do more playing with my zoom out camera was freaking out on me. So here I see that here in Colombia, in South America, it's 11:30 at night. That's awesome. Here it's 9:30 at night in Los Angeles, which is relatively close to Colombia, right? Or at least relatively close compared to where I used to live. But now it's an evening session. I've did other things all day, and now I'm happy to free spirit. If I can fix my camera, I might do a bit more playing, just because it's so much fun playing on this Nord. I've missed a keyboard like this. It's my keyboard. I love it. I love it. There's all these great sounds in here. Let's see if I can. My camera is just completely frozen, but maybe I can just switch it off with the regular camera, with the webcam. Let me just turn this thing off because it's bad. But let's see if I can switch. For example, what happens if I do something like this? Go back. This is going to look funny because I have this green screen on. You can see how unstable it is. But what if I remove the green screen for now? Right, I can still pull out my keyboard. Maybe I just adjust this to be down and do something like this so I can play. Do you also see this flickering? You probably also see this flickering, right? I know why this flickering is happening. Hopefully it's gonna. Is it still flickering all over the place? It's still flickering, right? Let's see why. Are you still getting audio from me or video from me? I hope you are. Sorry for the weird. I'm always, whenever I'm having a stream, I'm always trying something technical. And I always have weird things happening. Even now, I still see my screen flickering in a weird way. I have no idea why. Hopefully it's gonna be consistent, and if not, I will find a way. I'd love to see Anthony Resta here in the stream. Anthony, for those who don't know, is an incredible producer, composer who worked with Duran Duran and other great artists, but also has his own incredible music. His music is pretty amazing. He does everything from like Bartok style pieces to like rock to experimental guitar music to, I don't know how to explain it. It does everything. It's pretty unbelievable. So many amazing, inspiring people here in the stream. Hopefully the stream's not going to be that broken. I don't know why it's... my computer is acting up on me today. Anyway, let's start to explain what it is I want to do. So, those flickerings, right? Maybe I'll close this. Hopefully this will make it a little better. Oh, Zoom might be acting up. Okay, I hope this is going to be stable. Okay, so here's what's going to happen here. So I just bought this Nord keyboard. It's awesome. It's beautiful. I'm going to play a lot through it. There's some sounds here on the Nord that I haven't tried back when I first had it. So for example, there's all these like forte pianos, like old Mozart style pianos. There's this thing which is the Steinway #1, like the first Steinway ever manufactured. I wish I could play some stride piano stuff, like sounds really good. Anyway, so here's what I need to do with this. One of the setups I'm trying to do, I put this Nord keyboard on a stand with wheels, and I did it because I wanted something that's always under my desk. Like you can't really see, but I can kind of push it forward, and it goes just beneath my computer keyboard, and I can always just play notes, which is really fun. But I also have this thing, which is my hammer action controller keyboard, and what I want to do, which is something I've done a few years ago, but I've never properly did it, is I want something that's going to route this to this. And I can actually do it, obviously quite easily with a DAW. Any DAW can do this. But first of all, a DAW always adds a little bit of latency. And the DAW is, but the thing is, sometimes I actually want to have the DAW open for other things. Like I want to record in the DAW or something. And I want something that just routes this to this in the simplest and low latency way possible. So I'm going to code this now. Hopefully I can code this in one session, and I'll make it probably open source and free, and everyone can enjoy it. And what I also want is I want something that's like a dock thing, like it's going to just show up on the dock, so that it's going to kind of look at all the MIDI connections that exist and just route one to another. It's going to be super simple. It's not going to do much beyond that, but there are some complexities. What happens when you change the list of MIDI devices and all that. So we're going to try to solve that right now. Okay, now I'm not just this stand on wheels thing. My studio is in such a mess. Anyway, feel free to ask me questions. Feel free to leave comments. I am going to try and address whatever is being said. If there's something you want me to play, I might jump into more playing as well. Okay, so let's move a bit closer here. Move a bit closer here. Okay. All right. So let me put on my glasses. Hopefully audio is fine and you can all hear me. And let's bring back my beautiful green screen. Here we are. So let us begin with just the most basic setup through a project. So here's what I'm going to do. First of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this off screen, is I'm just going to go to my GitHub, create new MIDI repository. I'm going to call this MIDI router. I'm going to probably share the description of this. It's going to be public on my GitHub. So it's just free software to route MIDI. And that's all it does. Let's see, what else do I need? Yep, just create this repository. Perfect. And I'm going to open CLion, which is my favorite IDE. Oh, I see somebody says that they enjoyed my Moves Like Jagger cover from many years ago. That thing was Moves Like Jagger. How did it go? Oh. Let's something like something like that. I don't know if you can see my hands, but I'm actually playing this. I don't need to control you. Look into my eyes and I'll own you with the moves like Jagger. I've got the moves like Jagger. Got to move like Jagger. Maybe it's hard. Something like that. You have so many fans in Colombia and South America for years with your band Project Arnell. All right. So glad to see people like Project Arnell. You know what? I probably need, there's some stuff, I probably need to do a dedicated stream for this. I need to start playing some of the second Project Arnell album. It's things that never got released. I probably do like a dedicated stream just for these kind of stuff because it's cool. Okay. And I'd love to see my most talented friend Carl King here, who's an amazing musician, videographer, and a friend. So I'm really happy to see Carl here. Carl is taking a break from social media, but I can still see him on YouTube, which is amazing. All right, okay. So here's what I wanted to do. I'm bringing up my CLAN window. Is it shown, or is my screen behind me frozen? Everything's frozen today. Let's see why. Yeah, this is showing some screen, but not my screen. It shows some out-of-date screen. I have no idea why. Let's restart capture. Okay. Here we go. There's a screen here. It shows stuff. That's good. So what I'm going to do, like we said, I'm going to code a very quick MIDI router. I'm going to clone a repository from GitHub. I just made this new public repository. It's going to be called something like MIDI router. It's going to be empty, nothing in there. Great, it loads. And what I'm going to do very, very quickly is I'm going to hijack a public template that I have. If you go on GitHub, one of my popular repositories is so it's this thing called Juice CMake repo prototype. This is a very good public repo that I have with examples on how to set up Juice and CMake. I like to use this as a starting point. So what I'm going to do, I already have this cloned. I also generally know what I want from it. So I'm going to go with Juice CMake repo prototype. And I'm going to grab a few things from it. I'm going to grab the CMake list, which I'll explain in a second. I'm going to grab this modules folder. Yes, add it to Git. That's good. I'm going to add modules folder. I'm going to grab the CMake folder. That's going to be useful. I'm going to grab Clang format, git ignore. This is going to be good. I don't have Clang tidy in here. I probably need to have that. Okay, so these three things. And let's grab the apps folder, even though I'm probably going to remove everything from it, just so that I'll have an apps folder. Okay, that's good. Blah, 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 blah. There's already a GUI app template here. I'm just going to... It's also an audio app template. Do I want the audio app template? Probably, maybe not. Maybe the GUI app template is good enough. Let's call this MIDI router. Let's, I don't need this. I don't need this. I just need, probably don't even need any of these modules, probably. Let's just remove them. I don't need any modules for now. Maybe I'll add one in a second. I don't need the tests. I don't need the juice tests. I don't need the blah, 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 blah. I just need to add subdirectory apps here. It's good. I don't need modules. I don't need this option. I do need it to find juice. I don't need the iOS stuff because it's not important, but I do need to set a minimum for Mac OS. Let's set it to be 11.0. I don't think I need anything below that. Universal binary, that's fine. Compile commands, blah, 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 blah. That's good. Okay, and the only thing I need is I need to look at a way to see how it fetches juice. So I don't like here. I'm just doing I'm fetching it from GitHub, which is okay. But I think what I really want, I'm gonna steal this from another project of mine, is I just wanted to download download juice from a cloned repository. Probably better. And we have a, let's also add C++ 20 as my standard. Let's add yeah, so instead of just grabbing juice from GitHub, by cloning juice, I'm just going to grab a zipped version because that's going to be just much faster. Okay, this looks good. Let's just go up template. Okay, let's see if I can load the CMake if I forgot anything in the cloning, in the initial setup. Okay, so my CMake is setting up things, grabbing juice itself, and it created this this template. Let's see if the template compiles. Okay, the template compiles. It shows an empty window. Very good. Okay, I'm going to commit this as setup initial project and basic build system. Okay, now let's see if I can start remembering how opening MIDI ports and such work in Juice, because I don't remember all of it, to be honest. First of all, I'm using juice header in here. I hate juice header. Let's remove juice header. I don't like this juice prefix. I hate just writing things. GUI extra, web browser, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Am I including juice header anywhere in here? I don't think I am, right? So I definitely don't need juice header. I probably need to update this example to not do this because it's stupid. Still compiling? Yeah. Okay. GUI app removed use of juice header. Nice. Okay, great. This is a perfect commit. Now let's try to do something off value. What I need is, first of all, I might need to link not just with GUI extra, but I also need to link with, I think it's called juice GUI audio utils. It's another juice module. And the first thing I'm going to do is see if I remember how to open a MIDI port. So I am going to, there's a little main app here. Temple application, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff needs to be in a module really. But before I clean it up, which I probably need to do, I just want to figure out some mechanics. I think the window would be a good way to observe this, because the window gets initialized in the message thread. It's kind of safe to work with at that point. Yeah, because I'm probably not even going to have a window in the real app. Like I'm probably just going to have like a little dock thing with a menu, which I need to remember how to do. I haven't done it in a while. So let's see if I know what I'm doing here. I'm just going to write things and see if they compile. So I'm going to include juice audio utils. And I think I need something like a MIDI. Let's see, device info, list connection broadcaster. What else is a MIDI device here? What is MIDI device info? So device info. So it's information about MIDI input or output device. Okay, so this is just for one of them. Okay, by calling static get available devices. Oh, this looks good. Get available devices. This looks pretty good. Okay. So list available MIDI input devices. Okay, so I think I have this thing where I can query the, let's do it. Let's not do it in the window. The window has a bunch of crap in it. Let's do it in this main component thing. So here in the beginning, I should be able to query and kind of get a good idea about the different devices that exist. So I should be able to do something like inputs equals just MIDI input get available devices. Inputs, and then so I have an identifier and name. What else do I have on this object? Oops, this is called MIDI device info. It has a name, it has an identifier, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, so let's just print those. Let's print those and see what they are. So let's dbg name input.name id input.identifier, and let's do the same with the outputs. So let's do something like inputs, and then let's log the same thing with the outputs. So auto outputs equals juice MIDI outputs get available devices for O2 outputs. And these are just two things, right? Yes, okay. So this is all it is. This should just print, run this and print whatever is available on my system. And that's not, by the way, the best way to do this, because in a real program, we're going to need to constantly query those in case one of them change or something like that. So we need to figure out when that happened. There might be some callbacks we have to call. But this is just a way to get an idea of what it means to do this. And I'm going to mechanically now, here it is. So look at this, the inputs. Oh, that's interesting. I have no outputs. That's kind of weird, right? Oh, I do have, I may do have them. I just forgot to do dbg outputs. Okay. So my log was off. Here we go. So my inputs, I have these two devices on my audio interface, and then I have the Hammer 88. The Hammer 88 is this keyboard right next to me. It's connected with USB, so it's a different input and output. So that's pretty simple. Let's see now what do we need to do to connect one of them. So what I want is I want to have the output of this, right? This one with this like very interesting looking ID. This is just a string, so I don't know what it's supposed to mean, but I want to connect it to the input. Sorry, I want to connect the input of this Hammer 88 into the output of port 1, which goes into my Nord. That's really, eventually what I want to happen in this, even though I want it to happen dynamically and not statically. But we're going to start by creating it statically. So I think MIDI. Let's see, what do I need to actually create this kind of connection? So MIDI input is the device. So I can just do open device with this identifier. And that's a static method. So that means I can just create it. And I can just call it without an instance of MIDI input. But this will give me the right type of MIDI input. And it's also accepting a callback, and this callback is like a little class that actually is processing this. So here's what what I need to do is I need to open a device on the input, and then on the output there's probably something similar that lets me here it is, create new device. And then on the new device, when I open it, I should just be able to do something to it, right? Can I just, here it is, send message now. This is generally speaking what I need. So I need to take a message and then call send now on the outputs. That's the basic mechanics that needs to happen here. So let's start by doing it as simple and as mechanic as we can. So let's create something like a, let's just copy this code. Let's create something like MIDI connector. The MIDI connector is going to have a unique pointer of juice. This is going to be the input. Then it's going to do a unique pointer of juice MIDI output. So it's good. I'm going to start by writing some really horrible things. Like, for example, I'm going to hard code a bunch of this. So I would decide that with the inputs, I would do that if input name contains, if it contains M audio Hammer 88, I'm just going to assume it's there. I'm not going to do any error handling for now. So I'm going to assume that it's there, and if it contains it, then input dot juice MIDI input, create new device with input dot identifier and the callback. So let's create the callback. So this is going to be something like callback, which inherits from juice MIDI input callback. Let's call it routing callback. And I just realized I first actually need the output for this to work. I'm glad you think this is cool. Hopefully very soon this will actually do something. This is a standalone app that does MIDI routing. This is what we're creating here. So routing callback. Routing callback has to implement something. So if I look at this MIDI input callback, it has requirements for this pure virtual function called handle incoming MIDI message. So I must do something with this. Callback that this is going to call me when a MIDI message comes in. And what I'm going to do, I am going to create this with a juice MIDI output. This can even be a reference for now. So callback, and this would take a juice MIDI output to use. Okay, and then when the message comes in, I don't care what source it is because I'm just going to have one source. But when the message comes in, I am going to do output dot send message now message. This is the essential logic of my app, is taking the message and sending it as fast as I can to the output. Now this callback, I am going to also make a unique pointer of routing callback CB. Okay, so now when we found the Hammer 88, let's do it in the opposite order. Let's start by finding the right outputs. I don't need these DBGs anymore. So I'm starting by querying the outputs, the MIDI outputs that I have. I go through all of them, and I'm first of all starting by just manually saying that if output dot name contains ignore case USB MIDI device port 1, which is what I'm trying to connect this to, then let's call it MIDI out. Let's call this MIDI in. So if I do this, then MIDI out can be created with a juice MIDI output, create new device, output dot identifier. So I'm going to create this device. Now, when we find the input, I'm going to pass it. I'm going to first create the callback, make unique of routing callback, which now knows the output. So I'm creating this new callback, and then I'm going to pass this thing. It's taking a pointer, right? So cb.get. So I'm creating the input, and when the input gets a new message, it's going to let the callback know. The callback is going to pass the input to the output. That's basically what's going to happen here. So this is my beautiful class. What does it want for me? Oh, I don't care about that. And now all I need to do is create this. I don't need this label because it's boring. Let's remove all this boring UI. Hello world label is not needed. Instead, I'm just going to create this connector. And let's see if it did what I hope it's going to do. Okay, I uploaded. It did not work just yet. And let's see why. So let's see these connections that I made. They're in the constructor. Let's do something like in this incoming message, let's debug message dot something like description, right? Description. Okay, and let's see if I'm getting anything in this incoming MIDI callback. And also let's see if it got created as well. So, okay, I think it didn't get created. And that's probably because I did some bad name handling. So, I need to save it first of all. MIDI in equals this. So maybe I did create it, but so it needs to include M audio hammer 88. Maybe I misspelled something here as well. Okay, so I did find it. It's creating the CB. Then it creates the MIDI in. It up, and then looks like I had this little mistake here. I'm creating the routing callback with MIDI out. Let's see if it's actually getting created. Creating router. Router is created. Oh, and so I probably need to do something. For it to actually listen. So there's probably something like MIDI in start, and you also need to start. Yeah, I probably need to start it or something. Route is up and playing. Not good enough yet. So maybe there's something else I need to do. Let's see exactly what's going on here. So let's read more about this MIDI input class. Oh, so I need to open a device, not just, so first I need to try to open a device. Oh, so I don't need to create a new device. I need to open a device. Okay, that makes more sense. So instead of creating a device, I need to open it. I guess creating a device is for virtual MIDI or something. Here you go. So Roland just corrected me, is that I need open device and not create new device. That makes sense. Here you go. So open device. There you go. This is what happens when you try to blaze through things. Let's see what this does. Creating a router. Here you go. So notes are coming in, but they're not going into the MIDI out. So I need to see what is also needed on the MIDI outputs. Open the device, and then what else do I need for the information to go? Let's see, what else did I forget here? Send message now, that's fine. Send local messages, clear. Oh. So I probably need to also start this thread. So if I don't start this background thread, it doesn't work. Like if I send this now, this depends on the thread. Interesting. Let's see if this depends on the thread or not. Like, do I need to do like MIDI out, start, background thread or real-time thread? Is that really what I need? Do I actually need to start a thread here? Let's see what this says. Then use open device. I'm not sure if I need to do that. Why would I need to? Do I actually need to open a thread for send message now to do what it needs to do? Probably not, right? I think it should work without another thread. Let's see exactly what this does. Okay, so my app opened, message comes in. Let's see this beautiful output. The name is, oh, the output is wrong. So the output is, the output is Hammer 88. How did that happen? How did my output get the wrong output? Oh, compare ignore case, equal ignore case. Here it is. All right. Question is for Mosey, did you pass the callback or the object? I think the problem was, it works. Okay, my app works. So my app now does what it needs to do. So I don't know if you can see my hands here, but I'm pressing notes on the hammer action keyboard, and it passes it into the Nord. That's why you're hearing this. There's another sound engine. It plays it, and that's the basic mechanism that I want to do. But this app is not really useful yet because everything is just hard coded, right? So I just need this first stage to make sure that I know what I'm doing. Of course, I screwed up some basic things in the syntax, called the wrong callback. But let's explain the mechanisms that I'm using, and then we can start constructing an actual app in here with some state and perhaps handling when devices get disconnected or something like that. Okay, so the question is, what app are you making? So I'm making a very simple app for me, but maybe for you, it's going to be free, open source. Nothing is genius in this. And all it does is there's going to be a little dock icon, like on the Mac, you have stuff like this, right? Like it's going to have a little menu over here at the top without any other UI beyond that. And it would help you connect one MIDI device to another MIDI device. So it's literally just for situations like I have, where I have multiple keyboards here. I want to, you'll want to start this little dock icon at the top. And then I want to go into my, sorry for the flicker. I'll want to go here into my hammer action keyboard, and I want to play through the Nord. Now, you can do this in a DAW, but first of all, DAW adds buffering, and I tested this in Cubase earlier, for example, and Cubase adds a bunch of latency when you do this, a little bit of latency, but enough latency for it to be felt. This feels much better than any of my DAWs are feeling, just from responsiveness, because this just tries to queue the messages as fast as it can. Like, it doesn't care about syncing with the audio buffer. It just kind of passes the message. And also from just a comfortable of working way, that I like the idea that, this keyboard has wheels, or the stand has wheels in it, so that sometimes I want to push this in and just play on my heavier keyboard, which feels much better. And sometimes I want to be able to, play with this. Sometimes I'll want to patch in one of my other keyboards. Like I have this little thing. This is my super small portable nano key. Costs $40. It's the lightest keyboard ever. So I'll just want to put this, sometimes I want to put this like right in front of my screen, press things, but I still want the great sound from my Nord. I might push the Nord to the side because I want to be closer to the computer. So it's just a router app. It's very simple. What we've done now is I blazed through the basic mechanics. And now I'm going to make a bit more of a solid app with state and something more useful. The question is, have you been coding for a long time? Yeah, I've been coding for over 10 years at this point, mostly doing music apps, audio plugins, and stuff like that. You can check out, stuff I've done for all kinds of companies. Especially, you can check out my company, Modalix. We make sequencers, arpeggiators, samplers, and other fun stuff. But I also worked for other companies like Waves and like more recently Music Hack and Sauceware. The question is, bro, do you also do editing? What do you mean by editing? Like music editing, video editing, code editing? What do you mean? Text editing? What else are you editing? I love how fast it is. It feels so fast. This was so good. Okay. And this is just even a debug build, so it's probably going to feel a little bit better when I get this to work. Okay, great. So I'm going to commit this and do something like edit initial setup for connecting MIDI in to out. Like I said, this isn't useful at all. This is a very buggy program, because if this MIDI Hammer 88 is not going to be here, this is going to crash badly. Nothing here is bulletproof. Nothing here is good. This was just to understand what is the basic mechanics. So the question is, video editing in After Effects, Blender, DaVinci, Premiere Pro. Yeah, I edited a lot of videos in Premiere mostly. I'm not an amazing video editor, I'm okay. I've been known to release all kinds of like music videos or code videos, but I'm not. There are better editors than I am. One of my collaborators over time is I love working with Or Paz from Sugar Zaza. We worked on a lot of videos together. Some of them were his videos, like the Gag Quartet, which is, you should check out that band. I recorded and mixed and played on on all of these tracks, the Gag Quartet tracks. And whenever I needed something more professional done, like better video footage or very like an After Effect fixing something, I would just go to him. And everything that I know is stuff that he taught me how to do. He taught me a little bit of color correction and stuff like that. But he's so much better than I am in all of this. He's an actual professional. The question from Ayan: how much does a piano like yours cost? So this is just a controller keyboard. It's not very expensive. I think it costs about $500. I just bought it because it has a good feel. Like it feels solid, and I like playing on it. But there's no internal sounds on this, right? It's just a controller. This thing I just bought yesterday or 2 days ago. I just bought this. I bought this used. This is a Nord Stage 3. Like now you can get a Nord Stage 4 as well. But I just bought the 3 used. I bought it from somebody around here in LA. It cost me $3,500. If you get the new one, like the new Stage 4 or whatever, it's going to cost more than $5,000. So I like that I could get this used. And I also got I like what they call the waterfall keyboard, which is kind of like more like an organ keyboard than a piano keyboard. And I like this because it's very light. Like I can take this to a rehearsal. But if I want to play a more heavy piano song, it's better to have this keyboard. Okay, I just bought a laptop and I'm new to it. Also, I'm 18, so sorry for calling you bro. I am younger than you, sir. Don't remind me how old I am. Come on. No, you can call me bro. I'm okay with the bro. Yeah, if you get a laptop, most cool things you can definitely do with a laptop. Some of the things I'm doing with like physical keyboards is more of like indulgence, right? I like the idea that I have this physical thing that I can take to a rehearsal or something, but you don't necessarily need it. You can get, a laptop and a few plugins or something and get some great music happening. The question is, are you in LA? I am in LA. I moved here a bit over a year ago, so I live here in the south, or not south, but the east area of the valley in LA, which is great. Okay, what are we doing? Oh, okay, there's a question here. Hey, Al. I'm a web dev person getting into audio programming and have been a producer for 5+ years and have a good programming and DSP knowledge. How do I make it into audio dev positions in big tech? That's a great question. I want to read it again. I'm a web dev person getting into audio programming and have been producer for 5+ years and have a good programming and DSP knowledge. How do I make it into audio dev positions in big tech? So I'm not necessarily the expert on what they call big tech. A lot of times when people talk about big tech, they talk about, like working for Google or something. By the way, this is cool. I don't know if you can see this image display here. I like this little scene that was built here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know so much about big tech, like because I've never worked for like a Google, Meta, Amazon or something. I have friends who work for these companies. I tried interviewing for Meta and it didn't go so well. I think they didn't like me for whatever reason. That will be a great thing to talk about, like what happened to me there. But yeah, but I would say, just from my experience, is that it felt, it really helped to be, it really helped to get like things done. Like, so my first job at Waves I got because they already knew me and I had a working relationship with them. But when they asked me to get a prototype happening in code, I was very, very hardcore about getting a really good prototype. That's something that I still feel, strongly about. It's not because I was a good coder back then, because I wasn't necessarily, but I was doing whatever it takes until the project was complete for the level that I could do it. So I feel like if you can create projects that show what you can do, like, and you make them fully working and you build all the features that are needed for this to work, whether it's DSP or UI or wherever, I feel like that would impress people, because in my opinion, a lot of the people who work in those bigger companies like Native Instruments or whatever, like some of them are good programmers, like they have the skill, but not a lot of them have the drive and ambition. And if you have that and you can follow through and you can, solve all the bugs and make the project come to life, I feel like, if you go to a job interview, people will be impressed. Like if you're like, hey, I made this plugin and it has great UI and it solved this problem, and I've, went down the rabbit hole of all the technical issues that were needed for this to happen, and it's a usable app, I think people are going to be impressed, especially if you, can answer like good code questions and you can, generally speaking, what you are doing in that realm. So that's the simple solution, or simple advice, I guess. The question from Ayan is, any tips to become a better programmer? So I would say, first of all, it's kind of like music, in my opinion, in the sense that you really have to just do it every day, like a few hours a day. Like it's like you can't just go into like tutorial hell. You can just watch tutorials. You have to be on it, solving problems, right? Just like reading documentation, solving bugs, doing something. Like always have like some useful project that you're tackling. The other thing I would say is I really value understanding structure in programs. So if you can understand how bigger programs are structured, like if you look at a game or a plugin or something, and if you can get a grasp of how things connect to other things, I feel like that is really useful, because one thing I see a lot of beginner programmers do is that they can sometimes understand local problems, but when the problem is spread all over the place, like, the UI is broken and this is broken and they need to find a way to connect this, they have a hard time. So it really helps to create programs that have connections. I probably need to do more of a tutorials about this, like create a program that connects a lot of different things, connect, the state to the UI and the audio to the presets, or some animation that connects to something else. So whenever you make all these connections and you can explain how these connections are happening and what causes what, I feel like that really helps to real world programming problems. Okay. The question from Wither Boss. I want a suggestion. Do crook software can harm my laptop? Because being broke, I don't have another option. Also, I'm a student, so yeah, it's an only option. Oh, you mean like cracked software? Oh, the cracks. Okay, the cracks. Okay. First of all, I'm gonna say that if you are making music nowadays, there's a lot of free things you can use, way more than in the past. First thing, there's a free plugin by Modalix. It's called Plugin Buddy. You should get it. It's free. So go to modalix.com. Just sign up and get Plugin Buddy. You don't have to pay. Do that. There's a lot of other companies that are giving you free plugins. There's free versions of DAWs that you can use. I think Traction Waveform used to probably still have a free version. There's a few DAWs are offering free versions. A few plugins are offering free versions. There's a lot of great free plugins. So if you just search for those, you can make music just with that. About the damage of cracks, some of them depends on where you get it. Some cracks have like malware in them and stuff like that. It's not pleasant. You can remove it. You can use an antivirus or something. There are ways to get around the malware. The big problem is that some of the cracked software, and I know that from my experience, is that sometimes people would just, like the crackers, would just crack a version of the plugin, and they're not going to bother cracking every new version unless it's a very popular plugin. So sometimes what happens is you get an old version, and that version just is buggy and could crash. And if you get the real version, you're up to date with whatever the developer is doing, and you get the latest features and everything. So I don't know what to tell you. Like I've used cracked plugins when I was just starting out. Nobody likes to admit it, but I did it. And at some point I bought them, right? But that was later when I was a bit more established, and I felt like it's more important for me to get the real thing versus, just trying things on my computer. So I feel good now also, making plugins, and it feels better, but just do whatever feels right for you, and definitely get all the free plugins. Like, you don't have to think about it. Like, get Plugin Buddy, get plugins that have freemium version, like Vital is a great synth that has a free version, stuff like that. Okay, another question here by Big Tech. I mean, the best in this industry, NI, Arturia, and Xfer, etc. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, having also myself, I've worked for Xfer, for example, you can get those gigs by creating things and making yourself known. Like, I was very fortunate, for example, that when I met Steve Duda, he knew me because of demos I made for Waves even before I was programming. And also it helped that I had, fully working plugins to show him of things that I've done at that point. So I feel like it's about, making yourself known, but also creating high quality things. I think if you do that, and if you research enough what you're doing, like, there's no reason why you can't get a job at any of those companies. The only thing I would say is that some of these companies, these companies hire remote, but some of these companies just hire, where people are. So if you want to work remotely, you want to check which companies are okay with the global workforce of sorts, and you should check which companies are around you, because, for example, Arturia, I think, are French. So if you're French, maybe it's a good thing to talk to them. Native Instruments are German, I believe. So I think it's sometimes that also helps to be close. Like, I got my first job was at Waves because I used to live in Israel. It made sense for me to apply for a job there and not at an American company. So that's also maybe something to consider. Question from Mosey River is, how do you feel about oversaturating in the plugin market? Also, companies claiming unrealistic huge discounts. Yeah, this is a problem. Honestly, as somebody who makes plugins, I have my plugin company with Olu Bianikel called Modalix. Yeah, the market is oversaturated. It's very difficult for a maker, to stand out. It's a problem. I'm not sure what the solution is. From the perspective of the user, that's good, because when I was growing up, a lot of these, it was hard to find good quality plugins, but now there's a lot of good quality plugins, and there's reviews about these plugins, right? So you can, let's say you're not sure, is this good, you just go on YouTube, you'll hear comparisons, and you can get an idea of, am I going to like this? Regarding the discount stuff, that's difficult, because I've noticed that, for Modalix, like, whenever we do a sale and we do 40% off or something, people are buying more. I don't know if it's psychological or something. There's a lot of companies, and we do that as well, where, it's rare that the plugin would be in its full price. It's always discounted. So I don't know. Commercially, I feel weird about it, but I feel like it's, it's kind of like something that helps people buy when they see the discount number. I don't know. I'm so bad at all this commercial price stuff. You probably don't want to ask me about this. I like making musical things. I hate pricing. I hate advertising. I don't know. I feel like it leads me to this very miserable part of my life whenever I have to talk about pricing and deals. So I don't know. Definitely get all the free plugins. What Alex has a free plugin, get that. There's no problem. No problem with discounts with the free plugins. Thanks, bro. I really need to know that. All right, great. Ayana Lee says, I'm programming in C++, but I feel lost, like there is so much syntax to learn. Is learning syntax important? Like I know the basic syntax, but should I focus on syntax or should I code and use Google? Yeah, I don't care about syntax. Don't learn all the syntax. Definitely use Google. As much as you can, use Google. Google is great. Google is your friend. Yeah, like I don't remember syntax. Like the syntax that I remember is the stuff that I'm typing constantly. But if it's something that I'm not, like I haven't typed like today or yesterday, I'm gonna forget it. I don't have it in my memory. You do need to know a few concepts. Like for example, we just talked about a callback, right? If the concept of a callback should be understood to you, but the actual syntax and mechanism doesn't matter all that much. Yeah, I think that you definitely want to use Google. Like you don't want to memorize things at the beginning, at least. Like you want to, especially, I have things that I can do because I'm constantly typing them. But if it's new, like if it's another language, like if I have to do like some JavaScript now, I'm going to forget everything. I'm going to Google everything. If I have to do Python or something, I'm going to Google the whole syntax. And like none of this is in my brain, basically. But I do know the concept, right? I know generally what functions look like. What does it mean to pass functions into other functions? I have concepts. I know what it means to inherit from something and pass like a polymorphic object. So that helps me to know these things, even if I don't remember the full syntax. So what do these companies, C++, DSP, CMake, ask in the interviews? If you led one, sadly Arturia ghosted me. It depends. Like some of these companies would ask you, standard programming questions, like the stuff you see in like lit code, like some of them, just algorithmic. I hate those questions, by the way, but some companies want them. I don't know why. Some companies would ask you, more of like C++ data structures questions. Like I recently interviewed for some company and they showed me a data structure and they said, they said there's bugs in here. Can you fix the bugs? That was one of the questions. Or they showed me some code and they said, what would happen if I run this code? Like, can you understand the flow of this? And it had things like pointers in it, arrays, vectors or maps, stuff like that in C++, and I had to like figure out how to do that. So that, but also, sometimes they ask you about audio. So they ask you about real-time audio, what it means to, process something in the audio thread or the UI thread. How do you do things like a lock-free FIFO? What does it mean to use an atomic or not use an atomic? It's like multi-threaded stuff. Some companies ask more about DSP, which I don't know a lot about, but I know the basics. But some companies would ask you about filters. I haven't had a company ask me about CMake and build systems, which is a shame because I feel like I would have aced it if they did ask me that. Yeah. So I've had companies ask me about. I've had companies like give me home assignments about like solving something. So it was like a question of like solving a matrix or translating this data type to this data type, and I had to like give them something. I like that type of assignment more, because then, for example, I had a company do this for me, and then I could write unit tests, right? So I could go home, I could write unit tests that cover all the use cases, and I could prove that my solution actually works. Sometimes if I get something in front of an interviewer, it's I feel a bit stressed out because I can't like run the code or test it. I like that I can, sit quietly and make sure that I don't do any syntax errors, and also check the logical correctness of what I'm doing. How can I study? Yusuf asks, how can I study C++? I learned 2 years ago, but I forgot much of it since I've been using Swift. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do, I feel like it's a lot about the pragmatism of the project. By the way, Swift is a great language, probably my favorite modern language. It's a great language. So many things in C++ should probably have been like Swift. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, really what I would suggest is do a project in those languages, and then you're kind of forced to learn. You're dealing with errors, so you have to Google, and you have to, so I feel like it's very much like practicing music. A lot of my, I still remember when I was studying with my composition teacher, that was more than 20 years ago. And I think she asked me to play something on piano, and I wasn't very good at piano at the time. And she asked me to play something, and I think she asked me to read something from the chord page. And, it had all kinds of chords, like 9, something like a A9, or I don't know, G minor 13 or something. And whenever I had one of these chords, I would take a while to like calculate, like, okay, this is the 7, this is the 13. Like I would, and she told me, you can't do that. Like you can't be like she told me, like, you have to practice these chords until you can just play them, right? Yeah. And I feel like syntax kind of has that a little bit, where like you don't have to memorize everything, but you have to do a few projects so that it's in your hands. So, the arrow on a pointer is like built into your brain, or whenever you make a template, that kind of syntax is built into how you work. So even if you miss something, you generally know how it works, and you don't have to like figure it out from scratch. So my tip is just make a few projects, grind through the compilation problems, and then you would know. Or you would kind of know, and then you would have Google help you for the little things. All right. I'm getting tired. Do I continue coding? Do I answer more questions? Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time. On a side note, does Modalix happen to have an intern position open for such roles? Do you know any companies who happen to be actively recruiting interns? We had positions for interns at Modalix. Not right now, because, one of the good things about Modalix, I feel like, is that it's a vehicle for Or and I to kind of be free-spirited and not necessarily fit into like a deadline or work, stuff like that. So sometimes if we bring in an intern, then we kind of have to, we don't want to string them along. We want to give them something useful to do, and we want to pay them and stuff like that. So we there's nothing concrete that we have right now. But definitely I know that companies hire interns for sure. Especially if you are very interested in, the process, and you want to learn. I know of companies that hired interns for a lot of the big ones, and I don't see why that won't be the case. But I do feel like that, if you want to be a programmer, having a good portfolio would really help. Like just something on GitHub that runs, compiles, and shows your passion and interest is great. There's a Discord that I'm in. It's called the Audio Programmer. You can find a lot of really useful collaborations there. Also, some people from the companies that were mentioned here are there. Like, they might be silent, but they read the posts and they know what's going on. And if you're somebody who posts often, some of them might talk to you because they see that you're interested, and they're also interested in people like that. Mosey says, I also dislike marketing, by the way. I've wanted to get Beat Scholar. It solves a need I've had as a producer. Great work. Awesome. Well, Beat Scholar has a free trial. You can try it. I don't want to sell you on Beat Scholar or anything else, but you can always get Plugin Buddy, which is free. And not as a trial. Like, it's a total free thing. It's cool. Beat Scholar is something that we made that people like for creating interesting rhythms. I have no idea why my camera is flickering on me like that. This is so weird. This has been a weird tech day. All right. Yeah, maybe it's going to be time for me to actually try to go to sleep, and I'll finish this app tomorrow or something. Any other questions before I call it a day, call it a night? How do you speak English? Do you say call it a day or call it a night? What do you call it? What does it even mean? More coding. All right. So I'll say goodnight to you for now, and I'll probably come back here tomorrow and do some fun stuff. So thank you for joining, and have a good evening, night, morning, whatever.